So Heather, we just talked about the workforce and taking care of the team. I'm fascinated. I looked at your title for this. Where are we going with do you want fries for that? Because the only thing I can think of is like supersize me, and that's not a good thing.
Okay, to be fair, this is not an episode of Super Size Me. You're right. In Tennessee, we are fortunate enough that one of our role model organizations actually makes hamburgers and hot dogs. Now, they'll be very quick to tell you they're not fast food. But the point I want to make is that this idea of excellence is not limited to hospitals or banks. Wherever you work, this is something you can do. They've taught me a lot of things along the way, but probably the most fascinating is the idea of figuring out what the customer actually wants. So Heath, let me ask you real quick. When you think about going through a drive-thru for a hamburger or a hot dog, what do you actually want?
I think I want a quick meal.
Okay.
I don't want to wait in line.
Okay.
I don't think it has to be perfect.
Okay.
And I generally want people to treat me well.
So I heard quality, I heard timeliness, I heard something around respect. What they have learned over the years is that what people actually want, rolled up into one phrase, is they don't want to have to check the bag. They want exactly what they ordered. So they might not tell you, by the way, I want my hamburger to be hot. And by the way, if I asked for fries with that, I actually want the fries in the bag the first time and the 2 ketchups to go with them. But they have understanding their customer down to an art. So let me ask you, what are some ways to help organizations figure out what their customer actually wants?
Well, considering you did something fascinating, which was I gave you a lot of things, but I think you boiled down to one of the most important things for me. I think you just listen to them. You listen to them tell you what you did well. You listen to them tell you what they didn't. And I think at the end of the day, you get really intentional about asking them.
So in the prior episode, we talked about the right way, or many right ways, to ask employees what they want, but there were some wrong ways too. What are some good ways to gauge what your customer actually wants, and if you're delivering that?
I don't know if I have a good answer for that.
Well, ask me back. I got one.
Okay. You know, Heather, I think that's an area that's probably more your expertise. What are suggestions and what have you seen?
So something I have learned along the way is that it often boils down to the experience. It is very rare that the product itself is such a differentiator, right? One bank versus another, if they both have an ATM, that's probably not the differentiator. It's what you said, it's how you're treated. It's the experience of going there. If I can go through one drive-through and probably take a very long time to not get what I ordered, or go through the drive-through across the street and get exactly what I wanted and everything at the correct temperature, I'm gonna pick the one as a customer that treated me well. So then we get into the question of how do you measure that, or how do you make sure you understood what the customer want and that that's what you delivered? Heath, have you ever done anything with customer engagement surveys or Net Promoter Score, anything along those lines in your work?
So primarily just making sure that we're monitoring them, that we pick a consistent score, that we use it year over year, and we make meaningful change when we hear those. But every organization that I know of that is really making a solid difference uses one and uses it well.
Interesting. So just like with the workforce, I think maybe the most important thing is, did you ask? And then did you follow up on it, right?
You know, I think one of the things that's coming up as a theme here is we talked about the mission, vision, and values. But at the end of the day, we can use a lot of business talk. And one of the things that we wanted to do was try to make this simple. But this is literally, even in business, no matter the size, scope, scale, this really is, what are you doing? Where are you going? What's your core value set? What's important to you? Do you have some general goals and direction? And then do you value people? Do you value the people that are doing the job for you? Do you value the people that you're taking care of? Do you value the people that are helping you? Vendors, suppliers, those things which we'll probably talk about at some point. But this idea of just value and respect people. Listen to them. They have good ideas. That's what I hear when you talk about this. I mean, we can talk about Net Promoter, and those are all great tools. But at the end of the day, they're just listening to people.
Absolutely. So your takeaway today is not to run out and do a Net Promoter Score, although it is one of many ways to assess customer engagement. Instead, it's to ask yourself, have I actually asked the customer what they want? Do I know maybe how it's different if I have different kinds of customers or groups of customers? And does my workforce know the answer? Heath, I think we nailed it. What do you want to talk about next?
Sounds like we need to talk about measurements.
I'm in.
All right.